Hey, what's up and welcome in. I am Dr. Karwana D. Irving, your government contracts expert. And today I'm going to give you a simple formula that's going to teach you how to make millions. Let me know if you're ready. Type ready in the chat if you really want to know this secret formula, y'all. So, over the past few years, almost 2 decades, I have been helping high level small business entrepreneurs actually create millions. And I've been helping small business entrepreneurs just like yourself land lucrative government contracts. But today, I really want to focus on the formula behind all the success, the exact formula that you need in business, whether you're doing government contracts or not. But I definitely highly recommend it because it plays a big part of this particular formula. If you understand these four pillars of creating millions, then you can be well on your way to actually achieving the results. So if you're here and you're ready for this secret formula, type ready in the chat. Let me know who you are as you're coming in. Also, let me know. I see Facebook users. So if you're joining me on Facebook, be sure to click on the StreamYard link so that we're able to see your names. Otherwise, it just shows me as Facebook user. I'm going to show you. This is what it says, Facebook user. But if you click on the StreamYard link, then I'll be able to see you're ready. Like Sim Cat. What's up, Sim Cat? Hey, Demetrius. Hello, everyone. And hey, Aliqua. Hello, Denise. Hello. Hi, Gwendolyn. Hello, Gwendolyn. Ready. I see all of you all already. So be sure. Hey, Derek. What's up? We have to think and grow rich. Actions will follow. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, cool. Tony. All right. I see you, Tony. All right, cool. So anyways, definitely if you're ready, let me know that you're ready. I see a few people that are ready. I see Rye. I see that you're ready. But today we're gonna get into a simple formula to make millions. If you guys are new to my channel, if you're brand new to this whole ecosystem, I am I guess I've been coined at in the media as the millionaire creator because I've been helping people actually create millions, right? And so over the past few years, there's a lot of things that I learned, and I've had a lot of success. I've also had a lot of failures, successful failures, meaning that I've learned from those failures. So I've done a lot of things right, and I've also done a lot of things wrong. And so if there's anyone who can teach you how to actually create millions with a secret formula, trust and believe that I'm that person that can show you exactly what I've done, and not only how I've ever been able to create millions of dollars in business as an entrepreneur, but how I've also been able to teach other people how to do it. So I'm going to jump right into it. Hey, Kim. Hey, Melvin. So I'm going to jump right into it, and I'm going to actually share my screen. So I have a little digital draw board. Let's see how can I share my screen. I think I could do that here. There we go. All right, cool. Let me know if you can see my screen or not. So let me know if you can see my mouse moving around on this screen. So ideally, when it comes to creating millions, right, there's a formula to it. Like, of course, you hear some stories about how a person may win the lottery and they accidentally become a millionaire overnight. But you also hear those stories about what happens, when they accidentally become a millionaire overnight. So success has a formula, right? So there's a actual blueprint to maintaining success. And for me, in this aspect, we're going to talk about success as becoming a multimillionaire, right? And so ideally, there are four pillars, right? So I want you to think about, I wish I had like a little pencil. It'll make it easier to write this, but ideally, this is four pillars. I want you to think about your business as a vehicle, right? As a vehicle. So a business is not just a brick and mortar store. It's not just a service or a product that you offer. It's not just a piece of paperwork, but it's an actual vehicle that you have to use to get you from point A to point B. So think about it as a car, right? So one thing that we all know about vehicles, cars, whether it's a bus, a train, an airplane, doesn't matter. What these vehicles do is designed to actually help you go from point A to point B. Now, most people make the mistake of thinking of their business as just a thing, but really the business is the vehicle, right? It's the vehicle that's going to help you get from point A to point B. But there's some coordinates. There's some things that you have to dial in. There's a way to literally GPS your way to success. Whether, and I know, and I'm going to say this too. Like, I know that everybody doesn't want to be a millionaire. So maybe this is not for you. Maybe this is not the right channel. But for me, I believe that every entrepreneur should at least at minimum be making a million, and could at least at minimum be making a million. Now, the difference between those who do and those who don't is not only what you believe, but also the action steps that you either are taking wrong, or because you just don't know. Lack of knowledge is one of the biggest hinderers from that prevents people from being able to achieve the $1 million status. But with all the money that's floating around in this big universe that we live in, every entrepreneur has the ability. And I've seen the money that is out there. I look at the opportunities that are out there. This is how I know 100% you have the ability to actually at least make the million your baseline. Somebody put baseline in the chat. $1 million should be your baseline. So I'm going to share with you. I'm going to help you dial in some of the coordinates that I know that will help you get on your way to actually achieving $1 million a year in revenue as your baseline. Okay. So here we have 4 wheels, right? So I've done this training before. So there's an older video on my YouTube channel that talks about the wheels of wealth, but I'm going to break it down a little bit more here. So with your business being a vehicle, there are 4 ideal wheels. There are 4 pillars to creating wealth, right? And I'm going to share with you what those 4 things are. I'm going to share with you why you need to have them and what you need to do with them, so that you know what you need to be doing moving forward, and the focus, the things that you need to be focusing on. Now, a lot of times people are distracted by all the noise that's in this busy marketplace. You got people telling you to jump into real estate, jump into Airbnb, sell ebooks, write a book, do all these other things. But really, you don't even have to do all of those things. Really, if you just do these 4 things, you can actually start creating millions of dollars. And I'm not talking about in the next decade. I'm talking about in the next 6 to 12 months. You can do that if you take action and focus and put your efforts in doing the right things. Here are the right things that you want to do. So, excuse me. So we have, okay, so the first wheel that you need to be focusing on is basically, I call it PC. PC stands for personal credit. Let me just check and see if you guys can see me. Okay. So PC stands for personal credit. Okay. Very important. Now, many of you probably have some challenges, or maybe have had some challenges, and even some of you I know probably have pretty good, decent credit scores, right? Personally, it's important. Now, I remember now, if you want to become a millionaire, you have to think like a millionaire. You have to do what millionaires do. And one of the key things that I've learned over the last couple decades is millionaires actually leverage personal credit, right? So I know that sometimes we struggle with personal credit. Scores goes up, you make a purchase, scores goes down. You struggle to pay your bills. Life happens. Some things you have to make decisions, and things happen, and your credit score is suffering. But one thing I know and have learned about credit and personal credit is that you can always fix it, regardless. You can mess up credit so many times, and you can also fix it as many times as you messed up. So it's not a permanent thing, right? But when it comes to lenders and funders and finance, and even sometimes employment now these days, one thing that they look at is your credit. And they look at that because credit tells a story about you, how you handle money, your belief, your relationship with money. This thing really goes deep. But what I mean by the reason why I have this as one of the pillars to creating generational wealth is, let's just say, on the personal credit side, if you have at least a 680 credit score or above, of course, is premium, but at least at minimum a 680, you'll start seeing some things happen for you, being able to get more yeses when you're at 630, 650, but 680 is a sweet spot, right? This is where you're able to leverage things like lines of credit, credit cards, things of that nature, right? Lines of credit and credit cards. So let's just say on the personal credit side, so when you have a business, There's a way to actually start building out wealth from day one, depending on how you structure your business. One of those ways is having personal credit and using your personal credit to get, like, maybe you can do some credit card stacking. Let's just say if you're at like a 680, 650 credit score and you have income revenues, let's just say of at least 50, 60,000 at minimum. This is just an example that I'm going to use. You can easily get approved for at least a $50,000 credit card, right? And that will be your balance on that card. Now, typically what happens is when you apply for credit cards and then you apply for another credit card, they usually approve you based on what you've been approved for before. So let's just say you can do some credit card stacking, right? So let's say you have about maybe 3 credit cards on the personal side that are $50,000, right? So that's already like $150,000 that you get to leverage. And maybe there's a line of credit. Maybe some of this is a mix of between credit cards and lines of credit that you can reuse, right? So that's like $150,000 in leveraged access to capital. So now most of the time when people are starting businesses, they're like, how do I start my business with no money? How can I go get a loan? Well, you can actually lend yourself some money by having good personal credit. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to take, it really only takes like 90 days to maybe 6 months max to actually boost your credit score and get it to where it needs to be to repair your credit. There's like so many different tools that are out there, right, that will allow you to be able to do this. We also have some in-house tools that we give away to, some of the clients that we work with. Now, some of these high-level concepts, I teach, and like we have a bunch of different programs. So one of the programs, we have like a $200,000 mastermind, and we teach high level concepts like this because people who are able to invest at their level, they understand how money really works, right? So we have a $200,000 mastermind. We have a $100,000 coaching program. If you were to hire me, my hourly fee is $5,000 an hour for consulting. Why? Because I know what I'm talking about. I know that the information that I'm going to give you is really going to help you make more money, right? And it's going to help you either 10x or more what you've invested. So that's why we are premium people. We like to work with high level premium entrepreneurs. And so anyways, at this level of understanding how important personal credit is, like, let's just say, okay, you started a business and maybe your business is your side hustle. Maybe you still work a job, but you're like, I'm tired, I'm stressed out, I'm ready to get rid of this job, but my business is not doing so well. How can I focus on my business because it's not paying the bills yet? Well, what you need to do is leverage personal credit to retire yourself from your slave job so that you can actually work on your dream job, which is your business, right? So when you have something like maybe $150,000 in access to capital because you've leveraged good personal credit, then that $150,000 you can pull out in cash and pay yourself over the next 12 months while you build your business, right? So that's key. So personal credit gives you leverage. It's not designed for, even though most people use personal credit to go buy a car and flash around or go shopping, get designer purses and designer shoes and get into bad debt. Good debt is any debt or anything that you do with your credit that's going to help you get in a better position and help you make more money and help you basically sustain your lifestyle. So in this case, when you're using personal credit as leverage to free yourself and pay yourself while you build your business, that is a strategy. That can be a part of your exit strategy, okay? That's one wheel. The second wheel that we have is, I call it BC, right? It stands for business credit. Now, when you have good personal credit and you're able to get qualified for $50,000 cards or more, maybe even a $25,000 card, and you stack that, maybe you can get like 4 to 6 credit cards that are like $25,000 or more. But on whatever you're doing on the personal side, you get 4 times minimum more on the business credit side. This is the reason why I talked about business structure. Depending on how you structure your business, you can either speed through or expedite this process of creating wealth, or you can go take the long route. That's going to cost you a little bit more money because you took the long route. Now, what do I mean by that? When you start a business as a sole proprietor, then you are the person in the business that have to guarantee that you can make the payment, which means that you have to co-sign for the business, right? So which means that in order for you to really build out business credit, which is key also, right? It's the second pillar. You have to have at least a 680 credit score or better, right? To personally guarantee those credit lines, okay? Now, if you already created an LLC, which is an entity that's a separate entity from you, then your personal credit does not matter. This is the reason why how you start your business makes the world of a difference. We always start with the foundation. We want to know, how did you start your business? Are you the person that's guaranteeing, or is your business a standalone entity? When your business is a standalone entity, you're able to build out business credit without a personal guarantee. You're able to build out business credit without having great personal credit scores, right? So how does this work? So there's a way, and we also in our premium programs where we work with high level entrepreneurs, we actually give them a software to build out their business credit. So, but how does this work? I'm going to give you the tools of how this actually can work for you. So you get 4 times more on the business credit side than you will get approved on the personal credit. So let's just say you got approved for $50,000 cards and you stack 4 of those or 5 of those to get to like $150,000 in credit on the personal side. Well, on this side, now 4 times more than that is $100,000 approval, right? 4 times 50, 4 times 5 is 20. So that's, what is that? $200,000, basically $200,000 in lines of credit, in credit cards, or access to capital. So basically within your first 6 to 12 months of building business credit, like the professional corporate business credit, you can actually access capital of another 200,000 to $250,000 or more, right? And this is without, if you do it the long way, this is without you even having like revenues generating through your business, if you do it the right way, right? And so on this side, let's just say now you have an additional $200,000 in leveraged access to capital. What can you do with that money, right? You don't want to just go spend it frivolously. When it comes to creating wealth, well, now you have leverage to fire your boss because you built your personal credit. Now you have leverage to actually create some passive income streams, because maybe now you're leveraging business credit to purchase rental properties, right? So you have houses, that's rental properties. Maybe you have 2 or 3 rental properties out of state that's starting to generate you at least $20,000 a month in, maybe they're Airbnbs or whatever, $20,000 a month or more in passive income, which means that you set it up one time and it's going to pay you over and over and over and over and over and over again passively. So you don't have to have active income, right? Because now you're starting the process of replacing your active income, where you have to go work hard for it, with passive income, which you can make money in your sleep. Okay. Somebody type "make money in my sleep." Right. And so now you're leveraging the business credit, $250,000, $200,000 in access to capital, to be able to then maybe you're going to get some vehicles, but you're not going to drive those vehicles all the time. Maybe these are luxury vehicles like a Rolls Royce or a Tesla or whatever else that you want to, whatever type of vehicle that you like, that you believe that are luxury vehicles. Maybe it could be a Lamborghini, a Lambo. Let's see, a Lamborghini or whatever. So now you're able to do like luxury vehicle rentals, right? And maybe that's going to bring you an additional $20,000 a month by renting it out, 20 to 30 days out of the month or whatever, right? It happens. I have a really close friend who's a financial expert. His name is Marvin Mitchell. He makes at least $20,000 a month renting out his Lamborghini, right? So this is how I know this stuff works, right? So now you're well on your way to creating wealth. So now you have like $40,000 average potentially in passive income that's coming because you did what? You fired your boss. You now have money to pay yourself. You could pay your bills. Now you're focusing on building out your business credit and creating income producing assets that's going to be functioning as passive income for you, right? If you're following me, let me know you're following me. This is good. If it's good, let me know. Let me know this is good. Okay. So I'm gonna check in on y'all every once in a while and look at these, what's happening in the chat. Okay, so number 3, the third pillar of wealth, the third wheel that can help you get from where you are to closer to your $1 million year, $1 million day. And trust me, when I say $1 million a day, it's very possible. I've done it. I have a lot of colleagues that's made $1 million in a day, and it all depends on these principles that I'm teaching you guys. You have to understand how it works, and once you put it into action, you can actually scale it. You know what I mean? So you actually scale these things that I'm sharing with you all. So the third wheel that I'm going to share with you is what my area of expertise comes in as a government contractor. So this wheel is basically, I call it the PC square. It's not personal credit square, but it stands for premium clients. So PC stands for premium clients. Now, one of the most premium client you could ever acquire as a customer is the government. They are the number one biggest purchaser of business products and services in the world, hands down. That means they pay more than in the world, like in China, in Europe, in the United States, in Japan. Like the US government is the number one biggest purchaser in the world of a product and service, and they want to buy from small businesses. That's you, right? So let me define what a small business is. Any business or company that has under 500 employees and are a business concern. Maybe you've had some social economic disadvantages, like being a woman in business, or being a minority business owner, or being a veteran who owns a business, or maybe your industry standard is that you make 30 million a year for an average of 5 years. Maybe that's your threshold, but you as a small business entrepreneur, you're not even making 6 figures in business, right? Well, that puts you at a huge disadvantage. And so they have actual pools of money that goes to disadvantaged business owners and so on and so forth. So maybe you're LGBT and you've been, disenfranchised or whatever, and treated unfairly. They have pools of money for recognized LGBT business owners as well. And so anyways, what that does is it allows you to be able to access the funding that are coming down the pipeline from the US government to small businesses. Now, this right here, I look at it as a way to actually redistribute wealth. Okay. You get to partner with the government, get paid thousands of times over what an individual customer would pay you, and redistribute the wealth from the government into your business and into the areas of creating generational wealth for you and your family, and into the areas of serving the people that you're going to serve because you landed these contracts to serve. Okay. Which means that you become a direct redistributor to collect the wealth from the government, and then you get to do what you love, right? If you have a cleaning company, you get to clean. Now you're serving, right? If you have a catering company, you get to cook and feed, right? So now you're serving in that capacity and you're expanding your impact through your food, right? If you have a mental health consulting firm, now you get to provide mental health services with the government being your primary contractor, the government being the person that pays you to serve certain communities, certain families, certain demographics, right? Abroad. Now you get to expand your impact doing what you love with large lucrative contracts, right? So the premium client, what they do is give you what I call a cash influx. So the CIF. This is the cash influx, right? So think of this as a money bag. It's a money bag. I can't draw on this computer. I kind of need a pencil, but just think of this as money bags, right? These are multiple money bags that you're actually able to land and be awarded by the government to do what you already love to do. So say for instance, so I have a client, her name is Magda. You guys probably have heard her story or maybe seen her testimonial on my YouTube page, but one good government contract, her first contract, 5 weeks. And she's one of my premium clients in one of my premier programs. 5 weeks into the program, she landed her first contract. It was to the tune of $250,000, right? It's a little bit under $250,000. It's like 225,000, but a quarter of 220, it was 220,000. So it's a little under $250,000. But $250,000, we're just gonna say, right? $250,000 in 5 weeks, right? Most entrepreneurs, most small businesses don't even make that in a year. Most don't even make that over a 2-year period, combining their 2-year revenues, right? But she was able to land that in 5 weeks and invoice it all out over a 90-day period. So that's $250,000 a quarter. $250,000 a quarter. So 4 of those, there's 4 quarters in a year. 4 of those is what? $1 million a year, right? So all you need is one good government contract to change your life. And what that does for you, what that's going to do for you when you use this as a pillar of creating wealth and to getting to the millions, what it's going to do for you is, of course, nobody has $250,000 worth of bills, right? To pay monthly or to pay over a quarter. If you do, and you're not even making that kind of money, you're already living above your means, right? So let's just say on average, maybe your bills, your monthly bills, and this is like for people who like love luxury living, right? Let's just say your monthly bills is like $10,000 a month. So over a quarter, 3 months, you multiply that by 3, that's only $30,000, right? So if you land a contract for $250,000 minus $30,000, that's still $220,000 in what? Cash influx. So now what do you do when you have this cash influx? Well, you can only get a cash influx if you're doing business with a premium buyer like the government, right? What that does is gives you, it puts you into a whole nother tax bracket, right? And then what that also does, it gives you the ability to not only land one contract, but you can land multiple contracts simultaneously. So just imagine if you have the capacity to maybe hire a team to help you have 4 of those in a single quarter, right? So now you have like $1 million in a quarter. So when you're doing business with like premium buyers, by the way, like a premium client like the government, it's much easier to make $1 million in a month or in a quarter than it is to make $1 million in a year. So much easier. It's easier to actually make $1 million in a day than it is to make $1 million in a month, right? It's because of the way premium buying happens and the way that it's designed, right? But most people will never think, okay, I can make $1 million in a month. Your goal is probably to make $1 million in a year, but you can actually make that in a single month. You can actually make it in a single day. It all depends on the knowledge that you have and your willingness to execute on the information. So today, this is the reason why I'm sharing with you, the formula. Like with this formula, you can make it work for you in a month, in a year, in a day, in an hour. Like you can make it work for you because it's a formula and it's a principle that actually works, which means that no matter what industry you're in, no matter what the setting is, no matter where you are, if you do these things, you can actually make it work for you however you want it to work for you. So one thing I learned about success is success requires speed, right? Now, if you want to break records, financial records, and break generational curses and break, standards or whatever, then you have to do it in a speed. You got to apply speed with your actions so that you can get faster results. So anyways, so this premium client gives you the cash influx. Now, what do you do with the cash influx? Everything has a system. You have to have a system and a strategy in place for everything. If you don't plan ahead, then guess what's going to happen? You may fail forward. You may make a lot of mistakes, because when I first got into this cash influx game, I made a whole lot of mistakes moving forward because I didn't understand what to do with this cash flow, like what to do. So the only thing I knew because of where I was to hurry up and spin it down. So now I'm grateful for like all the mentors that I have invested in who has shown me exactly how to make money work. And now I'm able to pour that information and that knowledge and that experience over to you. So now with the cash influx, so you have a cash influx, your bills are only $30,000, but you've made $30,000 over the quarter, but you made like a $250,000 over the quarter. So now what do you do with the cash influx? Well, you invest in additional income producing momentum that you've already created in creating these income producing passive assets, and then you scale it. You reinvest the money back into your business to grow it, and you reinvest the money back into income producing assets. Now, here's the thing. When the more money you make, we all know the more money they take, right? It will be, Jacqueline. It's going to be on YouTube. So the more money you make, the more money they take. With they meaning the IRS, right? Unless you understand how to make this formula work for you. And I'm going to share with you. Now, did you not know, in case you did not know, the US tax code was designed for people who are high-level entrepreneurs doing these things. The tax code was made for entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs, the problem is most entrepreneurs don't understand how to make the tax code work for them. So they stay stuck. They stay stuck paying 50% in taxes. There's sales tax, there's capital gains tax, there's real estate tax, there's estate tax, there's all of these taxes that you pay. And at the end of the day, you're paying out 50% of your revenues and your income to Uncle Sam. Now, with this formula, it teaches you how to actually reduce that 50% tax that you're actually paying to life because of lack of knowledge. Now, when you're taking advantage, when you're making this kind of money, you have to take advantage of the tax code. Everything that you do in business, like all of these rental properties, all of these luxury vehicles, everything that you purchase and buy, all of your payroll taxes, all that stuff is tax deductible 100%. Not to mention, you can actually rent out your own home for, I think, up to 14 days a year, and pay yourself whatever the daily rental rate is. And that's completely a free paycheck for you. That's 100% tax deductible. So now you're minimizing what you owe to Uncle Sam. So now, speaking of that, because of these cash influxes, and now you're going to go and take this cash influx and buy maybe some more rental properties and expand upon that. Maybe you're going to invest in some stocks, and make that work for you. And maybe you're going to, buy some more rental cars. And now you have a fleet of luxury vehicles, cars. And this is all passive income, by the way. And this, although it has its risks, for the long term, it works when you understand, so maybe you're going to invest in a coach that's going to show you how to do this to minimize those risks, right? But it all works together, okay? So when you're doing these things right here, the fourth wheel is going to be very, very key. And this is a tax advantage strategy. You must have a tax advantage strategy in place. Now, one of those things in tax advantage strategy is definitely using the tax code, where I'm just put TC, definitely using the tax code to your advantage. Use it, maximize the tax code to your advantage. That's one of the things that you want to have in place, right? Another tax advantage strategy that's going to work together with your wheel of wealth is to become your own bank. I know you've heard people talking about infinite banking. I know you heard people giving information about how you can become your own bank, but I'm going to break it down to you of how it actually works. So there's a such thing called universal index life policy. Now, in my premium programs, I have partnered with a bunch of people. Like, all these tools we give you when you're in a premium program working with us. So I've partnered with a couple of people who are actually experts, financial experts in this particular space, that shows you how this stuff works. So universal index life, the policy is designed. Most people get life insurance to bury their loved ones. Well, there's actually specific types of policies that are designed for you to become your own bank. Now, when you have universal index life policies and you're funneling some of this cash influx into that, now, not only when you have the right type of policy, if you guys need any referrals or references, or if you just want to, know how this stuff works, just, message me. But universal index life, when you have the right kind of policy, it actually becomes a bank account, right? So listen to this. So how on the personal credit and business credit side, where Maybe you had a $10,000 card in the past, but by the time they finish adding this compound interest, your $10,000 card turned into $25,000 worth of debt. Well, how did that work? Well, it happens by what's called compound interest, right? So on this tax advantage strategy side, when it comes to universal life policies, when you have the correct type of policy set up under index fund, what it does is actually compounds your money for you. So the same thing that the bankers are doing against us and they're benefiting, you actually get to do for you, and it benefit you and your family, right? So now when you have the right type of policy, what it does, it compounds the interest. Let's just say on average, 4 to 7% daily, right? So not only does the right policy allows you to take out a loan, right? You get to fund those accounts. You can take out a loan and use the money while you're living to do what? Again, buy additional passive income producing assets, right? Invest in things that's going to make you more money. Maybe invest in Bitcoin. I don't know anything about Bitcoin, but whatever it is that's going to make you more money, right? When you do the work, now you have a way to design yourself a system where you're never going to be broke. You can lend to yourself. You can lend to your family. You can have all this leverage and live the life of your dreams, right? So say for instance, maybe you want to buy a private jet. Maybe you want to buy a jet. Maybe you want to, instead of flying commercial, which is, I'm tired of flying commercial. I'm getting ready to, get into the private jet industry. Maybe you want to do that. Well, how do you do that when you're coming from like paycheck to paycheck, paying bills and can't really get ahead? How do you do that? Well, you set up a system. You set up $1 million, multi-million-dollar success system to create millions, and the wealth is going to give you the lifestyle that you want to live, right? So anyways, this right here, what I love about this tax advantage strategy is the money that grows compoundly for you that you get to take a loan out on is tax-free. So say you put $100,000 into your life policy and it grows, and it grows based off how you fund it. It grows to 7%. What is that? It grows by 7% compoundly. So now your policy is worth 300,000. Maybe it tripled. Like I'm just using some example numbers. Maybe it tripled because it's compounding every single day. Your interest is growing upon interest, growing upon interest. And in 6 months, maybe you took out the loan of the $300,000 and that loan becomes tax-free income for you, right? So you're not taxed on the growth of your plan. And not only does that allow you to have living benefits, right? You can take out money while you're living, but the death policy part is still there. Even though you've taken out the loan, if something was to happen to you, your burial is still worth 300,000, right? So it's just the way that it works. Some of the wealthiest people that we admire in the world, like Warren Buffett and the Rockefellers, and all, they use these strategies, y'all. I'm finding out now later on in life, and now we're using them. We're teaching our clients how to use these strategies. And now today I get to share this information with you. So it's a tax advantage strategy. So you must have a tax advantage strategy in place to avoid the 50% of your income. Because who wants to pay a $500,000 when you reach your million? Who wants to pay that? Nobody wants to pay that. So you want to avoid the 50% tax that's coming out of your pocket by having a tax strategy in place where you're basically safe haven or safe spacing or basically just saving money by putting money into these vehicles that's going to minimize your tax, but it also at the same time gives you more leverage, more access to capital. And now you get to become your own bank. That's what banking on yourself is, right? And that, and depending on how it's set up and how it's structured, there's so many different things that you can do with this policy while you're living. Okay. And so anyways, that's how it works, you guys. This is the 4 pillars of wealth. This is the 4 things, the 4 pillars that's going to allow you to create not only generational wealth, but to how to make millions. And this is the way that it works, right? You can't have one without the other, right? You can have good personal credit and just be doing okay over there. But if you really want to maximize on this system to create millions of dollars and then to build a machine, like this is a machine, y'all. And eventually the machine is going to start working like a well-oiled machine on its own, like a factory, right? You're building a machine that's going to create wealth. And then once you create the momentum of this, what happens when you have a momentum? If a ball of snow is coming down a mountain and it doesn't stop, right? It's called the principle of not overcoming inertia, but of the principle of motion, Newton's law of motion. What happens is that snowball is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, you actually get to apply that same Newton's law of motion into your finances. And what's going to happen is your money is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger because you created a system, a machine to make it work. So you start with the personal, then you do the business, and then you add the premium government client on top of that to give you the cash influx. And on top of all of these things, you're investing in income producing assets that's going to give you passive income. And then you're safeguarding your revenues or your income with the tax advantage strategies in place. This is a system, y'all. Nobody talks about this stuff. Nobody shares this stuff, but I'm going to share it because I believe that every single one I know, if you're a small business owner, every single one of you have the ability to at least become a millionaire within the next year, 6 to 12 months, depending on how fast you go. You can execute upon these things. And you don't necessarily have to do it in this order, right? You can get the government contract like within the next 30, 60, 90 days. You can get the government as your client in the next 30, 60, 90 days, be landing contracts, and then use that money from the contract and let the government fund your personal credit fix so that you can leverage that, and let the government fund you building your business credit so you can leverage that. And then you already have the cash influx to invest in these passive income streams. And then now, because you're in the game, of multiple six figures or whatever, multiple millions of dollars, you're already in the game. You automatically qualify for the tax code, and now you have the money to invest in the universal index life policies and become your own bank. So the order is get the government contract first. Let the government fund your legacy, right? Literally, because that was the first thing that I did before I had personal credit, before I built business credit, before I understood the tax advantage strategy. I got the premium government as my client first. That first contract of $70,000 for 28 days of work, then turned into multiple six figures a month, then turned into $1 million or more in a year, then expanded and growed into $1 million in a single day, and so on and so forth, which allowed me to be able to have the leverage and to be able to have these income producing passive streams of income, and then now becoming my own bank, right? And not only can you become your own bank for you, but you can become your own bank with your children, with your nieces, your nephews, your grandchildren, your loved ones, all this stuff, y'all. This is game. I'm just saying it works when you work it. Okay. So there you have a simple formula to make millions. And really, once you make your first million, you're going to be able to expedite that, like and scale that really, really quickly. But even if you're already like making $1 million, maybe 2 millions, like applying this information right now is going to get you to the 30 million, 20 million, 50 million and beyond much faster, because you've already started the momentum of making money, make money. Right. So they always say like, it takes money to make money. It really does. It really does take money to make money. And so this is how it works. So let the government fund your legacy, y'all. Anybody ready to let the government fund their legacy? Like I'm gonna share with you my own personal story of how the government is funding my legacy. Like literally, when I first landed government contracts, when I first started learning about this stuff and landed government contracts, I didn't know anything about anything else. I didn't know anything about this simple formula to make millions. I didn't know anything about that. All I knew is that the government had my money, which I talk about in my book. So if you go to don'tduckthegovernmentbook.com, you'll get a copy of the book, right? I talk about how the government has your money, so don't duck them. They got money for you. So if you're a business owner and you're ready, or you're just sick and tired of the rat race and sick and tired of trying to tape and stitch pieces together, and you're trying to figure out all these things, plug into this system. I promise you it works when you work it. As long as you don't quit, like you got to do the things. You got to be willing to do the things. So before learning all this stuff, like the first few contracts that I got, like Of course, I failed miserably at managing that money, but then I started learning what wealthy people are doing with their money. And what they're doing is they're being very strategic. And these are some of the things that I've learned. I'm sharing it with you as well. But the government has helped me go from the hood into my dream home, right? The government has allowed me to not have anything in assets, to be able to have multiple streams of passive income with properties and 10 acres and more of land that I never in a million years would have dreamed of. And I'm no different from the next person. I'm no different from any of you, right? And I know that can happen for you too. It's happening for many of my clients that are landing $250,000 in contracts for in 5 weeks for 3 months of work. It's happening for my clients that are getting paid $26,000 for an hour to teach diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is what they love. It's happening for my clients that are landing, like, what is he landing? $300,000 to go take pictures on a site, to go pick up trees from a storm. Like, these are opportunities that are out here. Yesterday, I spoke with a lady that's in our network of people. When people on high levels, it's so easy to connect with other people that are on high levels. But she landed a $1.5 million government contract. Y'all want to know what it was? Teaching leadership. Leadership and development. $1.5 million. Everybody can teach on something, especially if you're a parent. If you have kids, you done already led these kids and nurtured them through life on what to do, what not to do, which means that you already have the skill set to teach on leadership and development, right? So add that to your list of things that you want to do for the government, because you already have the skill set, right? You can lead. If you can follow, you can lead, right? Because you must become a follower. You must be a follower in order to lead. In order to lead, you must follow, right? A great leader follows great leaders, right? Because even myself, yes, I lead, but I also have coaches that lead me. So I also follow greater leaders who's helping me to develop myself into a better leader. So with the people that I'm leading, I'm constantly growing, which allows me to share information like this with the people that I'm leading. So anyways, here you guys, as promised, I delivered with you the simple formula to make millions. Take it and run with it, implement it, execute on it, all those different things. But I'm going to go even deeper. I'm going to share even more knowledge just like this in my upcoming challenge that's happening in a couple days. So if you guys are not yet registered for my upcoming challenge, I would highly recommend that you join us at govconchallenge.com. So I'm going to put the ticker, if I can find it, at below. So you definitely want to go and get yourself registered at govconchallenge.com. Join as VIP so you guys can be on Zoom with me behind the scenes, ask questions that's going to help you. You can ask me questions about my $1 million formula, right? The six-figure, the $1 million, simple $1 million formula. You can ask me questions about that, but I'm going to be teaching high-level strategies to help you get from where you are, turn your business into a vehicle to get you from point A to point Z. Like, it's not just going to get you a part of the way to B, A to B or A to C. It's going to show you how to get from part A to part Z, right? This is a vehicle that's going to help you generate the wealth that you want. And it's so important to not only create wealth for yourself, but to create generational wealth, which means that you're going to make so much money, more money than you can spend in your lifetime. And then you have to safeguard it with the tax advantage strategies. You get to safeguard that money, put it in trusts, and will it down to your children's children. And here's what you can do in those wills and in those trusts. You can have very specific instruction that in order for them to access that money or any money or get a loan or whatever, they have to have a business. They have to be doing this. They have to be doing, you could actually set up your future generations now. Like, you don't have to let them figure it out after you're gone, what you want it for them. Like, you can set up for future generations of wealth and how you want your wealth to be long, right? Like maintained for well after you're gone, like centuries after you're gone. But you can do that when you have a system in place to create the wealth now and have the cash influx that you want. So that's my spiel for today. I hope this was great for you all. I'm going to check out some of the things in the comment. Thank you for all the pink hearts. Akila, thank you for the fireballs. Thank you all. Let's see. How do I leverage creating writing treatment plans for television shows? Thanks, peace. Okay. Nico. So let me see. Simcat, government wants our money to circulate. Yes, I love that you said that, because actually I'm going to put this up. So Simcat. So one thing that I learned about money is steal money is dead. Somebody to write that down. Steal money is dead, right? So I want you to think about money as the seed to the harvest. Money is a tool, y'all. It is not the harvest. It's not the harvest. And so the thing that I learned about why people are broke and why people are stuck in middle class or just stuck where they are is because they look at the money as the harvest. The money is the seed to the harvest. You must circulate the money, right? So, you know, the scripture that talks about you have to be like a tree that's planted by the rivers of what? Living water. Living water circulates, it moves, right? There is life with movement, right? And so if your money is still, that means your money is dead. It's not moving, it's not producing more life, right? It's not circulating. If you don't put your money into circulation, like as you can see this, the wheels of wealth that I just shared with you, that's how you circulate money. You have to activate upon that stuff. You know, you have to activate. In order to grow money, you have to plant money and then do the work to activate it so that more money can come to you. That's how it works. More money don't come from, you know, signing up for a stimulus package. You sign up for a stimulus package, you get paid one time unless you put that money into circulation. So yes, still money is dead. Definitely you want to circulate your money and make it work for you, but it takes work. So if you're not an action taker, none of this can work for you. If you're not an action taker, it's just not going to work for you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Great book. Thank you, Keymaker. So if you guys haven't had a chance to check out the book, it's don'tduckthegovernmentbook.com. Be sure to just grab a copy of the book. I promise you, you will love the information and the knowledge. Like if this was valuable to you, there's even more valuable information in the book. And if you get access to read the book before the challenge, even better, right? So, but the challenge is starting in a few days. Govconchallenge.com. Be sure to join us in the challenge. We're going to be covering not only more high-level information about how to create millions of dollars and how to actually circulate the millions of dollars to make it grow to multiple millions and so forth, but wealth strategies. We're going to be sharing that, but we're also going to help you actually get pre-qualified to land the government as their client. So for those who have been trying to figure out how to do business with the government, we're going to walk you through step by step. Here's how you do business with the government, period, point blank. I'm going to give you all the knowledge, but you have to take the action and join us on the challenge, right? So I can only introduce you to the concept and introduce you, but if you're not taking action and willing to put yourself in the right room to learn the information, then guess what? It's just a bunch of knowledge that you're hoarding and it's not going to help you. So join us in the challenge, govconchallenge.com, get registered as a premium buyer, do the VIP so you can join me behind scenes. I'm not just saying do the VIP because you know, I want you to pay $297 to $397. I don't care about that. That's no money to me. I'm already a multimillionaire. I already have enough money. So I don't want you to do it for me. I want you to do it for you. Join us as VIP for you, because I know the value that you get by being in the room is so much more powerful than you get by being in the general seating. General seating tickets is $97, right? I know that the value that you get just by being in the room, hearing all the questions that the other high-level entrepreneurs are asking and listening in on the answers and being able to ask questions yourself is way more valuable, you guys. So if you were to hire me and get it as a one-on-one consultant, one-on-one, it's $5,000 for the hour. So for $297, you get to join the room and be the fly on the wall to listen in and actually ask questions. That's going to help you move the needle. So anyways, join us in VIP, govconchallenge.com. The challenge is getting started. And I believe for some of you who are action takers, who understand the concepts and appreciate the value that I just dropped right here for free, I just dropped it for free. So if you think that for free this is valuable, just imagine when you make a transaction how much more valuable that's going to be for you. It's simple formula to making millions. We're gonna expedite. We're gonna show you not only how you're going to make the millions, but why it's possible for you to make millions, right? Or more. And why I believe that each entrepreneur should have $1 million be their base. Like that's your bottom line, and how you can do that. You're going to learn all this stuff inside the challenge. So join me. I'll see you in the challenge for those of you who are going to be taking action to do that. But we're in the last quarter, y'all. This is the last stretch of 2023. For some of you who actually take action and apply the things you're going to learn in the challenge, you're going to be well on your way to creating this well-oiled machine because of the knowledge that we're going to share with you during the challenge. All right. So until next time, it's been great. All right, y'all. We'll check you on the next one. All right.